Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes. This is the Taroscopes for the sign of Libra. That's Libra Sun, Libra Moon, and Libra Rising for the month of January 2024. Yes, we have made it into 2024. 2024 is an 8-year vibration. As we sow, so shall we reap. We've mostly sown. We will sow and reap this year, but we will do a lot of reaping. So hopefully we've all been doing our due diligence with bringing the best things into our lives. This is going to be a general astrology picture for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising. And if you want something more specific, that would require a personal reading. And I do offer those. I have an hour and an hour and a half reading. If it's your first, I do prefer the extra time if you can see your way to do that. Otherwise, even the 60-minute reading is eye-opening. I do a reading with a combination of astrology, numerology, and Kabbalah. It's very different probably than any other reading you've had before. It's multi-layered, multi-dimensional, and really a lot of fun. And most people who get them really do enjoy them. All readings are recorded. So you just have to, I send you the link and you can download it after the reading. And then you have the option to listen to it over and over again. And many people do because there's so much information that comes through. You know, some astrology, some numerology, some Kabbalah, and some channel stuff, because when you're working in these realms, that's just what happens. So if you're interested in that, there are links below to that. Now, this reading, I said, will be a general reading for Libra and also a tarot reading using the Wildwood Tarot. If you're not interested so much in the astrology and you want to just look at the reading, there is a timestamp below, so you can do that. Or maybe you want to listen to the reading later in the month. The timestamp is right there, so you can get right to the reading if that's what you wish. So let's get started. We are going to, I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. All right, so we're looking at the sign of Libra. Libra, for those of you who don't know, is a cardinal air sign. Cardinal simply means initiatory, and the thing that Libra loves to initiate most is relationships. And your mantra, in fact, is "we are," or it could also be "I relate." And your ruling planet is Venus. Good news for Venus-ruled signs. That would be Libra and Taurus. That we do not have a Venus retrograde this year. Venus doesn't go retrograde every year. It pretty much goes retrograde every other year. And last year, of course, Venus was retrograde in Libra, and so spent a lot of time in one section of your chart. Let's just go forward here. All right. So last year it spent a lot of time in your house of networks, friends, groups of people. And so you probably had a lot of renegotiation of contracts with that. Now the South Node is in Libra right now, and the North Node is in Aries. That shift happened back in towards the end of July of 2023, and Pluto was squaring the nodes at that time. So there was a lot of pressure on the nodes and the resolution node of that particular period of time, which actually just ended in November. So it was actually, Pluto was square the nodes even when Pluto was in, I mean, when the nodes were in the lower degrees of Taurus and Scorpio. Pluto was also in Aquarius last year. So that square to the node really was something that we dealt with all year, but got real intense at the end of July, August, September, October became intense for the fact that we had the eclipses. November, December, and now we turn to January. And January really has a different energy, as does the year. 2024. We're in an 8-year this year. Last year we were in a 7-year. It was about introspection, knowing yourself, finding your path. This year it's about reaping what you've sown. It's about as you sow, so shall you reap. It's about karma, but it's also about manifestation. 8 is a number of manifestation. And this particular vibration, this 8, is associated with the Strength card, which brings in the sign of Leo. There's Leo again. Activating our creative self-expression. Now, this is true for everybody. And so there's been a lot of renegotiation for you, Libra, um, in your friends and new goals area, that 11th house. And now we will see what you have sown will certainly reap in that house, as well as many of the others. As I said, the North Node is now in Aries, and so we're all sort of moving in the direction of the I Am South Node um, in your sign, Libra, sitting in your first house, which you need to let go of when it comes to how you define yourself through your relationships. Perhaps that's an option for this energy. All right, let's get into the actual month. Whoops. We're into the month and out of the month. That was quick. All right, so we start the month with a Mercury retrograde, but only for a couple of hours. It goes direct on the 1st at 23 degrees of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is your house of your mind. So at the end of the year, if you were feeling a little scattered, if you're feeling like your mind wasn't quite working up to snuff, that should ease up as the year begins. And then we have the second thing to happen is your ruling planet Venus makes a last quarter square to Saturn. Now, squares to Saturn and Venus square to Saturn isn't a lot of fun necessarily, but it is a time of reevaluation and reorientation. It's really about becoming an authority in your own life based on the things that are most precious and the things that you love and that are most important. It's less about what other people are telling you and more about what you know in your heart. So that is happening first thing. On the 3rd, we have Mars, the planet of action, move into the sign of Capricorn. Now, it started, 2 days in your 3rd house of siblings and your, right outside your front door kind of energy, moving into that 4th house. This puts a lot of energy in the 4th house. In fact, you have a lot of energy in the 4th house, as there are many of the both personal planets and Pluto sitting in your house of home and soul. And so there's a lot of activity in your home, and you might actually have that, a lot of activity. And of course, we're still kind of in the holiday spirit, and so that could also be seen with that. Mars does like being in Capricorn. It functions very efficiently, and having that energy in your house will actually give you the energy and the structure to get the things done that you want to get done. So if you feel like you've sort of been not quite on the ball with getting all those tasks done at home, that should change for you. Week 2, Mercury makes a square to Neptune. This can create some confusion. That happens on the 8th. And on the 9th, we have, so the 8th, we're a little confused. On the 9th, the sun makes a trine to Uranus. That's a flow of energy, illumination of the changes that need to happen. It doesn't ensure that you're going to make the changes, but there's opportunity. So on the 9th, there's opportunity to make changes. Also with this Mars making a waning sextile to Saturn, a very good energy for taking action to create progressive change in your life. On the 11th, we have a new moon in the sign of Capricorn. This is a time of new beginnings in your house of home. You may have a project that you want to start in your home. Maybe you want to redecorate something that Libras are real good at, seeing as your Venus ruled sign. So this would be a time to plant that seed. Now, Mercury is not retrograde, so things will happen, but it is moving out of its shadows. So things will happen, but it probably won't happen as quickly as perhaps you would like. But the energy is there for changing. and shifting. On the 12th, Mars makes a trine to Jupiter. This sort of opens up a flow of energy. If you're doing stuff in your house and you're moving furniture around, which can happen when Mars goes into that house, just be careful you don't push yourself too hard. Mars trine Jupiter can be, especially in the Earth signs, it could be very productive, but you also have to make sure that you don't get too that you watch yourself with that. You do have to watch yourself. Saturn, the planet of restriction, is in your house of health at this time in Pisces. So you do have to still watch your physical body. You don't push yourself too hard. On the 13th, Mercury, the planet of the mind, moves into your fourth house, and joins everybody, joins the party. The only one who's not in the party yet uh, is Venus. Venus, your ruling planet, is still hanging around in your house of mind, in your house of minds. On week 3, we have the sun make a sextile to Neptune. This is very inspirational thing. A lot of compassion towards others and humanitarian endeavor. On the 18th, Mercury makes a waning sextile to Saturn. This helps to bring information and structure to situations that allow us to work for the benefit of everybody. There's a lot of that. You see, I'll say that a lot this month because uh, the stressful aspects this month all deal with becoming an authority in your own life. And then the easier aspects have to mostly do with flows of energy that help us to get places, and the sextiles give us the direction of change and progressivism, which is really we've been so regressive for so long. I think it's important that we move into the future. It's hope for the future because the past has been quite dismal, quite frankly. All right. On the 19th, Mercury trines Jupiter. Now, this is a part of a trine that has been sort of in orb since December. It happened right before Mercury went retrograde. Then Mercury went retrograde. It happened again. And now this is the last, 3's a charm kind of energy. And this is a flow between the intuitive side of your brain and the logical side of your brain. So your brain's kind of working on all cylinders, which is really good because I don't know about you, but there were times back at the end of last year that I think my brain decided to quit. I just like, I'm done. I'm not doing this job anymore, and off it would go. But I think our brains will align a little bit better come 2024. Let's hope anyway, right? Okay, so the 20th, big day on the 20th. Why is it a big day? Because, well, for 3 reasons, I guess. Number one, every year the sun makes a conjunction to Pluto. And it'll make a conjunction to Pluto in the sign, of course, that Pluto's in, because Pluto spends years and years in a sign, and the sun spends a month in a sign. And so since 2008, it's been conjoining Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. And this year it does it again at 30 degrees of Capricorn, but this is the last year that the Sun-Pluto conjunction will be in Capricorn. What the Sun-Pluto conjunction does is it illuminates the soul. And we're talking about the world soul here. Your soul in your chart would be your Pluto. But right now we're talking about the world soul, and the world is about ready to leave Pluto in Capricorn. We're going to re-enter Pluto in Aquarius today, the 20th, not today as you hear this, but the 20th of January. It will go back into Capricorn for one last little bit of Capricorn from the 3rd of September till the 20th of November, just in time for the presidential election. But it is going to be going back into Capricorn for one last gasp, one period at the end of the sentence. And then it's off into Aquarius, and it's not there for another 220 odd years. So, or 30 odd years. We will not be together. Well, we might be together for that, but we'll all be in different bodies at that time. So it's important because it's the last sort of little bit of illuminating the Capricorn soul, as it were. And Capricorn gets a little bit of a bad rap because it's hierarchy and it's patriarchy. But Capricorn is a feminine sign, and there's a lot of power, and the power of the earth is experienced in Capricorn. Um, and so when it comes down to it, man-made things, organizations, structures that have been shook, and perhaps as Pluto moves through Aquarius, will be eventually completely disassembled into some other sort of way of relating. Remember, Pluto in Aquarius is a very revolutionary time. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius was actually after the Revolutionary War, and when we constituted our Constitution, Pluto was in Aquarius. So hopefully we can remember the ideals and apply them in a more modern way than we had before. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. We have many years before we as we before we like really well, we're delving into it now, but it's going to take years. I mean, it just does. The sun, after it makes its conjunction to Pluto, makes it ingresses into Aquarius, and then Pluto follows suit. So if Pluto moves into Aquarius on the 20th and is there until the 3rd of September. Week 4, we have Venus, your ruling planet, ingress into Capricorn. It's interesting that it wouldn't enter the house until Pluto left. I can't blame it. Pluto and Venus have been having quite the Donnybrook with women's rights and patriarchy and all of that stuff. That will change for sure as we go through this year. Yes, okay. On the 25th, we have the full moon in Leo. Leo is your 11th house, where we had all of that Leo energy last year, but it illuminates something. It illuminates something. It is in the axis of love. The full moon in the 11th house, the sun in the 5th house, the sun in Aquarius, the moon in Leo. Because you're a Libra, you are always sort of balancing two sides of everything. Nothing is completely one thing. You can't take Leo into consideration without Aquarius. You can't take Aquarius into consideration without Leo. It's the nature of Libra. You're always like holding two ends, two polarities. And it can be very difficult because you're constantly trying to balance things, but the less extreme you are, the easier it is to balance. Okay, it's easier to make the adjustments necessary. So you kind of have to come to the center a little bit with Libra. On the 27th, the sun makes a square to Jupiter. Sun-Jupiter squares are usually not difficult, but you can overestimate what you can do. You want to make sure you don't overestimate what you can spend. We have to remember that Jupiter is in Taurus, so there can be some overspending with that. So you just need to be aware of that. And we also have on the 27th, Mercury make a conjunction to Mars. This is sort of the start of a cycle, and it's at 17 degrees of Capricorn. So another sort of new cycle in that 4th house, getting your mind and your actions on the same page. Week 5 ends up being quite lovely. It's actually not a bad month in general. There's a lot of good energy in this month, and the last week there, well, at least the 28th, is some really good juju. We have Venus making a sextile to Saturn. Now the month started with a Venus square Saturn, which creates a crisis that you have to attend to. But then when you get to the end of the month, Venus makes a sextile to Saturn, and this is much more easily worked with. It is a sextile. It's mentally stimulating. It moves us in the direction of the future and progressivism and, raising all boats and all of those things that Libra really kind of likes, because Libra is a sign associated with justice and fairness. And it's not fair that not everybody gets the same opportunity. What you do with your opportunities is your business, but the opportunity itself needs to be an opportunity that everybody can have a choice around. At least that's what Aquarius is. I mean, that's the sort of the goal of Aquarius in a way. We also have on that day Mercury making a trine to Uranus. So if there's an idea stuck, you can't get past it, there's something that's difficult, minds are difficult to change. You might have one of them, or somebody in your life may have one of those. This shifts that. It's easily changed. It's also a direct connection with your higher self or your higher mind. So this is a time where you could get downloaded with some pretty good information. And Venus trines Jupiter. These are the two benefics. And of course, your Venus ruled. And Jupiter is in the sign of the other Venus ruled sign. So it's really kind of a nice energy wrapping up the month for you. On the 29th, the next day, we do have Mars make a trine to Uranus. Mars is action, Uranus is change. Again, this is easy to make changes, but when we have trines, there's nothing getting in the way of the flow of things. And so you do need to be careful, because not everybody is as well intended as you. And so good time to take actions, to change things, to be more free in a lot of ways. But there are people out there who could use this same energy to create chaos. So just be aware that there are some chaos makers out there who will probably attempt that. All right, so that's that. Let me stop the share. And I don't know if I told you, I'm going to use the Wildwood deck for you, Libra, and then we'll pull a Starseed Oracle, which is the Oracle card I chose to pick for everybody this week. All right, just a few little shuffles here. So let's see what's up for Libra. Libra, Libra, Libra. Put them up. Put up the dukes. I love this card. This is the two of stones. It's called Challenge in this deck. We have two hairs fighting it out. Fighting it out. Now they won't hurt each other necessarily, but they're certainly both holding up their side of the fight, so to speak. So there is a challenge as you start the year, and this card indicates that you do really need to face the challenges and stand up to them and say, wait a minute, I'm going to be counted too. Let's see the challenge for that. You're a bit exhausted from you would rather rest. You would rather rest. That's the challenge. Let's see what's underneath it. The 11 card. This is a justice card in this deck. You have to, you would rather rest, but you need to stand up. You need to stand up for what's right. You need to stand up for what you know in your heart of hearts to be the right thing to do. In the past, you've had your wishes have come true. There's been some satisfaction. This could even be the holidays. Perhaps you had a lovely holiday. That nine of vessels sometimes can be a little bit too much of a good thing. So maybe you had a great holiday and you had too many cookies. I don't know. Could be. In the sky, we have the Queen of Arrows. The Queen of Arrows. There we go. Graceful. Looks magical. When you look at a swan and they're like in the water and they're just sort of going, it doesn't look like, just looks like effortless, right? But if you go underneath, it's like this, right? It's not effortless, but it looks effortless. And that is something that Libra can actually do pretty well. They can be struggling quite a bit and still look like there isn't a feather out of place. And so that could be you. But when I read the top card in the tarot, it can be one of I usually could be one of two things. Well, it could be a couple of things. Could be somebody is from spirit telling you something. Could be the energy in the outer world, but it feels like somebody from spirit is speaking here and they're saying, don't let them see you sweat. You're doing the work, but it's people aren't even going to know that you're doing it because you're going to look so fabulous. In the immediate future, we have reunion, the Six of Cups. This is a beautiful card. I love this card. So this is about going back to the source. This is about going back to the source. So this month for you is about going back to the source of those things that feed your soul. Feed your soul. We have a lot of energy in that fourth house, and the fourth house is the house of soul. So it could be that you do redecorate your home, or you decide to paint something, or you just want something to be different, something, or maybe it's just a matter of ordering your home and organizing it and getting into stuff that you need to that you want to release so that you can feel more balanced where you spend most of your time. But this is a lovely card, so it looks really nice, like a nice month for you. Well, you deserve it, Libra. It's been a real difficult slog. How other people see you, the heron. The herons are self-reliant, and which is an interesting thing because Libras aren't really known for their self-reliance. They're known for their need, wants, and what's the word I'm looking for? Their need, their want, and their ability to relate to other people and be in relationships. Um, but the heron is also an energy of knowing when your opportunities come and then going for them. Okay. So people see you as somebody who gets the fish. Oh, we have the Empress in the domestic situation. This is a very magical time. Yeah, I definitely see you doing stuff in your home to make it more reflective of the person that you've become. Um, and just you need a place where you can feel peace. And this month I feel like it's really your home. Your home. Let's see your hopes and fears. Shaman, focus, power. Um, I guess we all hope. I don't think you're afraid of your power. I mean, sometimes we can get like that, but I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like you're just thinking, can I really do it? Can I really get what I want to get done? We have the Four of Stones as an outcome. This is a protection card. This is protecting your assets or feeling protected. It's also a home card. I really like that card for you. Let's see if we can get a major arcana. We have the Two of Cups, which is attraction. This is a card of love. This is based on relationships with people who are equal power, equal standing, equal footing. A clearance, the Seven of Bows, time to clear out the things that are broken. It's time to, if they have no function anymore, time to go. And that sort of goes with the fourth house energy as well. And then we have healing and balance, which is what you're all about. So I feel January is going to be uh, a really good year for you. I mean, a really good month for you. Um, you do have to stand up for yourself, but once you do that, would you put the line, I think things start to really start to work out for you in that respect. We have the Eight of Bows, Hearthfire. This is the Eight of Wands, getting together with people. The Three of Cups, another sort of getting together with people energy. This is all underneath it. And the Hawk, the Knight of Arrows, the Knight of Swords. This is about having a broader vision. So these cards are really nice, Libra. I think it's going to be a good month for you. And like I said, you really deserve it because it's been very challenging. Very, very challenging. It's challenging for all of us, but there's been a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure put on Libra, to bear on Libra. And just continue to stand up for yourself, and everything else is going to sort of flow from that. And it's going to be really, really fine. All right, cool. Let's do of course, I dropped one of my cards. I do that every time. And there somewhere. I think the desk that I sit on sort of slopes back a little. And so if anything's at the edge, even things that don't roll seem to find their way to the floor. So I don't know. Pisses me off sometimes, as does not being able to focus. So just give me a second here. I got to do a little magic. Oh, it has to do with light. The light source gets messed up. All right, let's see what we have here. Starseed Oracle, what do you have to say for Libra? Libra. Oops. Show me Libra. Show me Libra. Show me Libra. Longing for home, homesick for the stars. He heareth, heareth. Okay, let me find that in the little book here. Longing for home. H-I, right? A-B-C. I'll hold this up for you. Maybe we can get a focus on it. Aren't these cards just so beautiful? Heareth is a Welsh word that's difficult to translate. I hate to tell them it's difficult to pronounce as well, but we'll go with it. But it refers to a certain longing or homesickness, a yearning for home or a place to which we cannot return. This unexplicable, unexplainable, unshakable longing for home is common in starseeds and old souls. Perhaps you have had it since birth. For some, it's a distant memory of a planet, galaxy, or star system in the universe that their soul remembers and yearns to return to, a place that they may have experienced more than earth. For others, it is a longing for the unity of source, a remembering of interconnected oneness. This yearning can lead to some starseeds to travel, searching all corners of the planet to find a physical place that feels more like home. For others, it can manifest in the need to find home in people, communities, and relationships, a journey to find somewhere they truly belong. If you resonate with this yearning for home, but don't really know where home is, you're being invited to remember that your soul chose to be on earth. You're being called to fully commit to embodying your life. You're being reassured that you don't come here alone and that your soul consciously decided to experience what it's like to be a soul and a human on this planet at this time. You're being called to anchor all of your presence, your personality, your soul, and your spirit in the here and now, to fully commit to living this life right now, to commit to putting 2 feet completely in. And I feel like that's a lot of the energy of the home, right? The home, the roots is to root yourself, um, because we're on the verge of a whole new thing. And as we all move closer and closer to it, I think we're all going to be glad we stuck around. I do. All right. Have yourself a great month. Like and subscribe if you would. As I said, if you'd like a reading with me, there are links below. If you'd like to support my work, you can become a patron. There's a link below for that. For as little as $5 a month, you can become a patron. Pretty much everything that gets on YouTube is first seen on Patreon with a few extras for my Patreon people. The more people I get, the more I can do special things for my patrons. So for those patrons out there, thank you so much for your support and your patience with me. Okay, take care, everyone. I'll see you again next month. Namaste.